Hey there, quirky peeps! This is your host Anna coming at you with another Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania video. Most critics have hated the movie for multiple reasons, but even the fans haven't appreciated it enough as it became one of the 2 lowest rated MCU movies according to viewers. Some have complained that it had too much exposition and didn't have strong arcs for Team Ant-Man. The Wasp was highly neglected. There was heavy reliance on VFX, which didn't even look very good. And then there was a monstrosity called MODOK, who was as bad as Superman's weird face baby mouth in Justice League. But apart from all these negatives, the biggest positive for every viewer was Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. His performance was stunning as he truly felt threatening. It would have been nice if the creatives had found a different way to defeat him instead of killing him off, because that makes Kang feel a bit vulnerable. But still, the fact that there are so many variants in the Council of Kangs does make us fear for the Avengers. All of them are in for a massive Kang bang. But before we get to that stage, I'd like to talk about a certain plot hole that Quantumania may have created with Kang the Conqueror. You see, Loki's finale revealed that He Who Remains was in charge of the sacred timeline.
Once I isolated our timeline,
all I have to do is manage the flow of time and prevent any further branches. Hence, the TVA.
He won the multiversal war in the past and tied all the universes into his sacred timeline narrative. We were made to presume that he wrote the narrative of the sacred timeline in such a way that no Kang variants would exist. They were the ones who went to war against each other and threatened the whole multiverse. So, one of them conquered everything by reaching the end of time. And after defining a sacred timeline, he started protecting it. To do that, he created Miss Minutes and the Time Variance Authority, which protected the creation of any branches in time. And the reason he did that was to prevent the existence of a new Kang in this branch. After all, an uncontrolled new branch would have led to the birth of a Kang variant that could ultimately challenge He Who Remains. So, he had the TVA keeping a strict check over the sacred timeline because he was afraid of his variants. But since he got bored of protecting the multiverse from himself, he lured Sylvie into killing him, and that was the moment when the sacred timeline was broken. All universes started to split into branches, and that's what created alternate variants of Kangs. So basically, before the events of Loki, in fact, before Loki's escape in Endgame, Quantumania's Kang did not exist. Or, that's what we were led to believe initially. But now, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania suggests otherwise. The latest MCU film clearly showed us that Kang arrived in the quantum realm before the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp. His ship crashed in front of Janet years before she was extracted from the quantum realm in 2018. So clearly, this version of Kang existed even when He Who Remains was in control of the TVA. He could not have come into existence after the death of He Who Remains, because Janet left the quantum realm way before the events of Endgame. And if you think about it, the events of Endgame are what really caused the death of He Who Remains. So the exiled one existed way before that, and so did the Council of Kangs, because they were the ones who exiled him. So, the right question to ask is, where was the Council till now, and what was it up to for so many years? Why did the Council allow He Who Remains to be in charge of the TVA?
this is wild.
The revelation of their existence before Loki Season 1 makes us think that Kang's arrival in the quantum realm could be a plot hole. That's because the conversation between Loki, Sylvie, and He Who Remains totally implied that no other Kang variants were active. So how come the whole council existed and took no steps against He Who Remains for centuries? It's really hard to believe, but we'll just have to wait for an answer from Marvel to solve this potential plot hole. Let's just hope that we don't have to assume a lame solution like we had to in Thor: Love and Thunder. You see, Thor 4 sort of created an Endgame-related plot hole, and we just had to let it go. If you remember, both Thor and Valkyrie clearly knew about eternity when Zeus brought it up.
Eternity?
What does he mean, reach eternity?
Eternity is a very powerful being at the center of the universe. It will grant the desire of the first person who reaches it.
If he seeks the ultimate eternity, that means he can wipe us out at once.
They knew that eternity could make any wish come true. So instead of going through the elaborate time travel plan to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet, they could have looked for eternity and wished to bring everyone back in Endgame. In fact, with a little research, Thor could have also found out that the Bifrost was the key to reaching eternity. And that key was in his hands for all those years when he became a drinking failure. But we just have to accept the fact that maybe Thor didn't know how to reach the cosmic entity, and that's why he never brought up the concept of eternity. Similarly, Quantumania has this Kang plot hole that we'd have to let go of. What do you guys think? Is the existence of the Exiled One and the Council of Kangs before Loki a plot hole? Or could there be a valid explanation for their absence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to click on those like and subscribe buttons. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.